What up, crew? It's Matthew here. Today I want to talk about Elfnotes. Elfnotes is a new archetype that was introduced in Burst Protocol, and it is the Synchro archetype centered around the lore of Medius the Pure. Other archetypes for Medius the Pure include Archmage and Doomsy, which both came out in 2025. I don't think those archetypes are particularly great. I think of the three, Elfnotes is probably the best. Um, Elfnotes has a really fun gimmick to where all of the main deck level 6 monsters can special summon themselves to the center main monster zone for free. And they each also have interruptions on your opponent's turn. Lucina, which is one of the best starters in the deck, can bounce a level 6 or lower monster. Tinia is a hand rip, and then Fortuna can bounce a face-up spell or trap back to the opponent's hand. So I think this archetype definitely has a lot of potential. Some of the gameplay of it kind of reminds me of White Forest, similar to how when you play White Forest, you kind of see the lore unfold as you are comboing and building your board. And this has kind of a similar feel, but featuring the Fiendsmith package. This deck probably has the most synergy with Fiendsmith that we've seen in an archetype in a very long time. Fiendsmith Engraver, Lacrima, as well as Tract are also one-card combos that can bridge into the Elfnote archetype, and then vice versa. It's very easy to go from the Elfnote archetype into the Fiendsmith archetype. There's been some I guess, kind of mixed reactions to the deck. It's definitely built a fan base already, but a lot of people are saying that it's overhyped or lackluster. So I wanted to test it today to just kind of see if it's actually good or if it is lackluster. I already went over the level 6s, and then, of course, we should all know the Fiendsmith package by now. And then Medius the Pure is also a one-card combo. I wanted to point out that I am playing 2 of the continuous spell, which is Welcome Home. A lot of lists that I've seen so far have only been playing 1, but I find with this deck and in the current meta, there's a lot of back row removal that's happening right now via like the Fallen, the Virtuous, and Radiant Typhoon, just kind of their gimmick especially. So I think having 2 for the grind game is pretty good. And then the extra deck is pretty standard. It's pretty tight. We have to include this full Fiendsmith package just to make sure that we don't brick and that we can bridge into the Elfnote archetype. And yeah, we're playing Crystal Wing, of course, and then Fabled Levelazable, which can also bridge from Elfnotes into Fiendsmith, but it's also just a good interruption on its own. It's a Widow Anchor, like similar to Sky Striker Widow Anchor. We got to play Side Frame Lord Omega for the Synchro 8. For when we start with Medius and have no extenders, we got to go into a Synchro 8 if we're not, if we don't need to go into our Mateys to get into the Fiendsmith package. And then the side deck, I'm just playing the 2 Droll, the 3 Nibiru, 3 Retaliating Sea. Foolish Burial kind of acts as a one-card combo too, similar to Theo Realize. Oh, let me hop and go into Theo Realize real quick. This is 100% the best starter in the deck. It Foolishes Medius for cost, which will be a one-card combo just by returning any other monster in your hand. So if you have like a Mole Charmy in your hand and you're going first, you can activate Theo Realize, send Medius for cost, shuffle back Mole Charmy into your hand to special Medius, and then go full one-card combo. But if Medius's effect to special summon from the grave gets stopped, or sorry, to special summon a power patron from the deck gets stopped, you can use the Realize's effect to banish from the grave to target Medius and turn it into a light fiend, and then just go into Fiendsmith combo. It is nuts. This card is absolutely insane. I can't believe we have it as a comment right now. But yeah, anyway, back to the side deck. 1 Foolish, 3 Droplet, 1 Pot of Prosperity for extra consistency going first, 1 Talent, and then 1 Solemn. think the engine of this deck is going to have a hard time going second, but luckily there is a lot of non-engine space in this deck. So we were playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 hand traps, and then the called by. So 16 non-engine spaces. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and hop into some replays here. All right, so this is a game 3 in a match against Dracotail. I think this game really shows just how much gas this deck can have and the potential of the end board that it can put up. So we've got Engraver, Droplet, Welcome Home, Medius, and Ghost Spell. So 2 starters and I guess technically 2 extenders if you want to count Medius or Welcome Home as extenders as well. And then they've got Urgula, Cartesia, Droplet, Rahu, and then Spoon or Spenta. Yeah, so let's get into it. So we'll start with Engraver, search Tract. Tract is going to search or dump the Lurie, which will special summon itself. It's just, standard Fiendsmith combo. Get out Lacrima, send another Engraver, Engraver special summon, link into Sequence. Sequence is going to fuse into Fiendsmith Lacrima, which is going to special summon Engraver, and then we'll overlay into Caesar. So now we're, in theory, protected from Nibiru. We can stop a Thymina if they would be holding on to it for any reason at this point, which, I mean, a Dracotail player wouldn't really. Yeah, so let's keep going. We'll normal summon Medius, which is going to bring out the Power Patron. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is the only tuner in the archetype, which is kind of interesting. So we'll use Power Patron targeting itself to increase its level by 4, because we don't need to go into our Mateys anymore since we got our Caesar online. So we will go ahead and go into Ciphering Lord Omega. This card is broken, so we'll have a guaranteed hand rip at any point. Power Patron triggers when going to the grave to add any Elfnote card. We'll grab Tenia. You almost always want to grab Tenia, even though we have Welcome Home in hand. It's just kind of the best sequencing. So we'll go Tenia, which will place our second Welcome Home. We'll use it to send Tenia, bring out Lucina. We're going to use Lucina's effect to grab Fortuna, special Fortuna to the center main monster zone, use its effect to place the trap. We will use the trap to send Fortuna to bring back the Power Patron. You always got to be careful with the attributes of the monsters that you send because they can't be the same as the ones that you want to special summon. I see a lot of Elfnote's players kind of misplay this. So yeah, just be very careful of which attributes you're sending to the grave with the trap card, and also with the Welcome Home continuous spell too, because they cannot be the same. Now we'll Synchro into Strelitzia, which is going to special summon Tenia. We'll set the Droplet, and then we'll pass turn. So here, what are our interruptions? We have 2 hand rips with Omega and Tenia. We got 2 card effect special summon negates. We got an on-field Omni negate. We can special summon Strelitzia to either bring out the Power Patron, and we can Synchro into the what is it? Why can't I see it? Junora? Okay, I guess I can't see it in a replay. But can go into the level 10 Synchro Junora to negate all face-up cards that our opponent controls. Or we could opt to special summon Lucina to bounce a level 4 or lower monster. So yeah, let's see it play out. So we can trigger Tenia's effect at any point. It doesn't have to be during the main phase like Omega's, which is really nice. So we can go for an early hand rip. So we'll take out the Ash. They're going to go Spenta, search Zeroa, Zeroa effect. So they are going to equip the Nina Ruru. And and they're going to attempt to use it to destroy our Rhapsodia, so we have to chain. So we'll send the sequence here, special summon Lucina, and negate. It's non-targeting too, which is really nice. I guess we'll go ahead and use Lucina's effect, swapping from the center main monster zone to bounce the Zeroa. They'll go Rahu. We'll attempt to negate with Caesar. They're maining, or they got Droplet, so they'll try to negate the Caesar. So I will attempt to use Omega to get a monster out of their hand so they can lose value from the Rahu. So we'll randomly rip Urgula, which is super nice, so we gain a lot of value since they can't use Urgula as material to pop any of our back row. They do send Pan. They bring out Arthelion. Targeting. Okay, I think they misclicked. So they're targeting. Okay, so they were targeting Cartesia, Strelitzia, and Caesar, which they can't do. So two. Okay, so they were only targeting our two monsters here, and then they chain Pan. Use Droplet, pitch Tenia, negate Arthelion. We'll set Cat 2. Pop Strelitzia with the Pan. They're not going to get a lot of value out of Cat 2 here, really, since they don't have another name in hand. But they will elect to fuse anyway. Go into Secretarion. We'll use Lucius to set Flame. We'll attempt to use Secretarion, but we luckily have Ghost Spell. And that's GG's. Alright, next up we have a best of 3 match against Dino Pile, I guess. I'm not sure if they were on the new GMX cards that were announced, but yeah, we're facing Dinos. You know, respect for trying to rep Dinos in our Lord of 2026. And game 1 we're going first. We'll go Lucina. Lucina is going to search Tenia. Normally we would search Power Patron with Lucina as a 1-card combo, but we already have it in hand. So just remember that if you're wanting to play this deck. Lucina, 99% of the time, will search Power Patron, which we will normal summon. We will use its effect to target Lucina to increase its level. And then in a new chain, or after the chain resolves, we will now go into Fabled Lazable, which is a light fiend, which is super nice. So it's a great interruption on its own, but it can also bridge into Fiendsmith in this case. And then we will trigger Power Patron's effect to grab another Lucina just for follow-up. We'll go ahead and go into our Fiendsmith package. I think it's always good to go into Fiendsmith early on, just in case our opponent does play Nibiru or Femina. It's just, you know, it just raises the ceiling of the deck so much. So we'll go Requiem, bring out Lacrima. Lacrima, dump Engraver. Use Requiem to equip. Go into Necroquip Princess. Engraver, come back out. And then we will overlay into Caesar. We'll go into Tenia. Tenia effect. One thing else I want to point out is that the Welcome Home Continuous spell locks you into synchros after you use its effect to pitch and special summon. So it's another reason why we got to go into Fiendsmith early before we get locked into synchro summoning. So Welcome Home, Tenia. We are now locked. We'll just bring out another Lucina. We'll special Fortuna because we have it in hand. Use its effect to place Rhapsodia, which we will pitch Fua. So that's the nice thing, is that Molcharmies can just sometimes be the perfect fodder that you need depending on the attribute that you want to special summon from the grave or deck. So yeah, it doesn't feel too bricky just kind of opening them even if you go second. Bring back Power Patron, go into Strelitzia, which will special summon Tenia, and now we are basically full combo. So we got the 2 summon negates with Caesar, hand rip, bounce, and on-field omni negate, and we can decrease levels by uh, 3 for every face up or every level 4 a higher monster on the field by 3. And then if we want to, we could potentially bounce a face up field or continuous feather trap. So they are main decking Harpy's Feather Duster, so we kind of just have to negate that. There's no real way to get the trap back if it goes to grave or gets banished, other than Sideframe Lord Omega, as just kind of a generic recycler. So that's the thing that I kind of have frustrations with this deck, is that there's not a lot of recycling from the graveyard for the spells and traps, unfortunately. So we decide to bring out Fortuna, negate Duster. We'll go ahead and just go for an early hand rip with Tenia. We do Giant Rex, which which can trigger to special summon. I probably should have used Caesar on this, but I didn't really know what they were on at the time. I didn't even know if this was going to be like a real deck I was facing and just like some random guy who just likes dinosaurs. You know what I mean? So they'll bring out Giant Rex, normal summon Oviraptor. Yeah, we ash that. They go into Evil Sword Dolka, which is kind of troublesome for us. This is why I should have negated the Caesar, because now I have to play around the Dolka since I only have monster interactions now. But they'll go for Xeno, get Xeno Meteorus, use its effect, and use the Petite's effect to bring out Scrap Raptor. Oh yeah, so it's like Scrap Dino. I don't know, man. Anyway, yeah, Scrap effect. I'll try to use Lucinas to stop their Synchro summoning, which they will negate and destroy. Scrap effect trigger to get Scrap Chimera. They activate Lost Worlds. They will use Scrap Chimera here. I'm thinking. I think now at this point I'm just trying to bait out the Dolka before I can. Uh, uh, just before they can destroy my Caesar. So they bring out the Raptor. They'll trigger the Lost World. I'll trigger Fortuna to stop the Lost World effect because I can at this point, so why not? Oh yes, on res I want to use the Strelitzia, which somehow they do not negate, which is crazy. So I decide to use the effect to reduce all the levels to stop them from synchro summoning, which is nice. And then they go into Scrap Wyvern, and I chain Power Patron to raise the level of Fortuna, and then immediately synchro summon into a Elfnote or Junora the Power Patron. And I choose to go for Junora the Power Patron. It feels really good to synchro summon this card on your opponent's turn, I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of lists are saying that this card isn't that good and they're cutting it, but I think it's kind of a good interruption to have, like once you go through all your resources on your opponent's turn. I think it's a good backup plan or just kind of a last minute uh, surprise to throw out. Because you can also chain block it here because we use Power Patron. So we'll go Genora Chainlink 1, Power Patron Chainlink 2 to search, and so we can chain block. And yeah, so we negate all of their card effects, and it's just GG, on to the next game. They go second, or sorry, we are going second here, and we sided in a bunch of non-engine. So this is such a great going second hand, right? Yeah, we drop Perulia in the standby phase. They'll go over after we draw them to droll, which is crazy. We'll Ash over after. Yeah, there's not much that they can do, and they just scoop. Next up, we got a mirror match, which is pretty cool. We are going first. We've got Engraver, Tinia, called by Theo, and Fua. They got Engraver, Larry, Droll, Imperm, and Tract. All right, let's see how this goes. All right. We start off with Engraver. I think it's always good to start off with Engraver just to test Ash. They hit us with Droll. We're just going to let that go through. We've got pretty much everything that we could need under Droll. We'll use Theo Realize, send Medius, use Medius, put back Fua, summon Medius, Medius effects, bring out Power Patron, go into the Armades, then we're just going to do Fiendsmith stuff again, because we can't use Power Patron's effect to search, which is fine, we already have Tinia in hand. Yep, Fiendsmith stuff, put Armades back, bring out Engraver. We will attempt to use Sequence to fuse. They'll hit us with the Imperm. No problem. We go Tinia. Tinia places Welcome Home. We'll use Welcome Home. Pitch Tinia. Bring out Fortuna. Fortuna is going to place Rhapsodia. We'll use Rhapsodia. Send Sequence. Bring back Power Patron. Go into Strelitzia. Strelitzia effect to special Tinia. We'll set called by, and then we will pass. They'll draw. They just got Fiendsmith Gas. We'll go ahead and activate a Tinia effect early in the standby phase to do early rip. We whip an Engraver. They go Tract. Get another Engraver. Go Lurie. We just go called by on the Lurie. I wasn't thinking that they'd have two Fiendsmiths in hand. They go into Lacrima by using Tract to fuse. We'll attempt to use Rhapsodia to negate the Lacrima. And then we will attempt to bring back the Fortuna, which isn't really going to do much at this point. We'll go Engraver, special it out. Bring out Lacrima after going into Requiem. They go into Sequence and they are able to fuse. So, maybe I should have used the call by on the Droll now that I think about it, because now they're just bridging into full combo. And they'll go into Cross Sheep, and yeah, it's just, we need to go on to the next game. All right, we go next game. They go Theo, pitch Lucina. Or, sorry, that was a misclick on my part. To pitch Medius. Medius, they go Bell. We have called by again, so we will call by that Bell because we need Medius live. Because we have Fortuna, and that's our only combo piece, and it's a brick. So, Medius is going to bring out Power Patron. We'll go to Armades. Power Patron will search Tinia. They'll hit us with Droll again, no worries. We go Requiem into Lacrima, into Tinia, or special out Tinia, because they hit us our Lacrima with Imperm. Use Tinia, or use Welcome Home to pitch Tinia, bring out Lucina, special Fortuna. Fortuna place the trap. Trap, pitch Lacrima, bring out Power Patron, Synchro into Strelitzia. Strelitzia, special Tinia. Set Imperm, pass. We'll hit him with the early Tinia once again. We will rip the Medius, and yeah, next game. So now we are going second. So let's see what we can do going second, which is a pretty big weakness of this deck. But luckily, we've got 3 hand traps, and Fua is generally pretty good against this deck. Interesting that they're playing this Art Mage Vandalism Assault. That's interesting. They'll go Engraver, search Tract. It's fine, they go Tract. We're just going to let this Fiendsmith stuff kind of go through for now. I don't think we need to negate it, because it's usually just bait, right? even though they kind of do have gas in their hand. So they do what they can do under Fua, just try to go Caesar, but that's really unfortunate for them because we have Imperm in hand. Imperm's pretty good this format, I think. Yeah, they'll set the trap, which isn't going to do anything. So all they really have for disrupting is Caesar. Yeah. So in draw phase, we hit them with Imperm. So if they can't negate any of our special summons, we go Medius, and that's GG. I mean, there's just nothing they can do, right? And we have full combo. Alright, we are back. So what are my thoughts about this deck? I think this deck is actually really solid. The Elfnote cards put up an insane end board when you're going first that can be pretty layered. The Fiendsmith package just synergizes so well with the Elfnote cards, right? Like, you can bridge into each engine just very fluidly. I will say that the deck struggles a little bit going second, just because like the engine doesn't do a whole lot. You don't have a lot of trigger effects with the Elfnote engine. Like, most of the effects are ignition effects, so it's just a little slower than the top meta decks right now. And that can also be an issue going first too. Let's say that you special summon Lucina to the main monster zone, and your opponent chains Dracotail Phimina. Then they bounce your Lucina, and you can't summon it again because you can only special summon it to the main monster zone once per turn. I think this issue is gonna not be as big of a problem once Blazing Dominion comes out, because post Blazing Dominion we're getting another main deck level 6 Elfnote named Regina. Regina kind of acts as a hand trap that you can use during any phase, sending an Elfnote card from hand or field to the grave to special summon it. And then if you special summon it to the main monster zone, you can special summon another Elfnote from your deck. So that just is going to raise the ceiling a little bit. It's a hand trap, essentially, because you could do a hand rip on your opponent's turn, but also going first, it can dodge and just extend as well. And it also recycles itself if it's used as synchro material, which is super nice. But yeah, you have so many starters right now. In the meantime, Medius and Theorealize especially, is just an incredible starter, right? The fact that your Fiendsmith cards are basically all one-card starters too, is just amazing. And then you have so much room for non-engine, right? Like, you have at least 15, 16 spots, and you could even potentially cut a Welcome Home, and maybe even cut another Medius to cut down on normal summons to add even more. So, that just makes the going second a little bit better. Let's be honest, like, most decks aren't that good going second right now. I mean, Dracotail and Radiant Typhoon are decent going second, but any other deck that you play in this format, like, you're relying on hand traps when you're going second. So this deck kind of excels at that because you can play so many. But yeah, I think this deck is probably tier 3 as is, maybe top of Rogue, but once Blazing Dominion comes out, we'll probably go a little bit higher. I suggest, if you're interested in this deck, to get the cards now, because I think it's going to be a similar situation to Radiant Typhoon, where, you know, Radiant Typhoon came out in Duel of Dimensions, and people thought the cards were terrible, and now, after it got support, it's one of the best decks, and the card prices have gone up, right? So I think that's gonna be a similar situation with Elfnote. I think once Blazing Dominion comes out, we get the support, it could become a top tier deck, and the card prices from Burst Protocol will spike. So if you're interested in the deck, I highly suggest taking a look at getting it on it now. I bought my core. I think I'll probably take it to locals after I get all the cards in the mail. But yeah, let me know which of you guys think of the deck, if you care. Otherwise, I will see y'all next time.